What is up, guys? Welcome back to OverTakes, and this is Misfit. Today, we are going to be talking about things starting back up, getting ready for the Countdown Cup. Talking prelims today, a little week preview we got going for you, and we finally got our playoff format, which we're going to talk about in a couple seconds. First, I'd like to thank everybody out there for joining me. Everybody out there on YouTube, thank you very much. Thanks for all the likes, subscribes, all the comments that we've been getting recently, all the chatter we've had, all the back and forth. It's been great. Keep going with that. If you're new, please hit a like, hit a subscribe. It would be greatly appreciated. Hit the bell for alerts. I do Overwatch League content anywhere from 3 to 5 times a week, depending on what kind of news is going on and that kind of thing. Everybody out there in podcast land, thank you very much for joining. And let's get into the news. All right, so finally, today I'm recording on a Wednesday night. Today we finally got our playoff format. And it's pretty interesting. It's a little different than I thought it was going to go. I thought we were going to kind of do some kind of tournament thing, yes, because that seems to be the standard. Okay, so they dropped this probably somewhere around midday Eastern time. I'm just going to throw up the explanation video.
Like our 3 previous tournaments, the playoffs are split into 2 different regions, North America with 13 teams and Asia with 7.
The playoffs start September 3 with single elimination play-in matches between the lowest seeded teams to earn their spot in the double elimination playoffs bracket.
After 2 weeks of playoffs, the intensity and the pressure will be all cranked up as we're down to our final 4 teams. The top 2 teams from North America, the top 2 teams from Asia.
Before the 4 finalists can face off, though, we'll need to take a couple of weeks for health and safety needs, as well as travel logistics.
The 4 teams will compete in a double elimination bracket, with 2 teams advancing to the Overwatch League Grand Finals to see who we will crown as the champion.
This is what every player and team has been playing for.
So make sure you don't miss a single second.
Go to the Overwatch League YouTube channel and make sure you subscribe so you get notified when we're going live.
We'll see you online.
So what we're going to get, we're getting, obviously, you saw in the video, we have obviously big prizes, all that kind of stuff. We're starting out, bracket format, but we're going to do a little different this time. It's going to be an interesting format, to say the least. So we're going to have a mini tournament. APAC, we're going to have what what you expect. 1 seed gets a bye into the double elimination tournament. Then I believe, 3 through 7 play each other in a single elim, and then we get down to 4 teams with a losers bracket, and then obviously that's going double elimination. It's a little bit easier, smaller tournament. There's only 7 teams, so I like the way they're doing this, though. I kind of like the format. I like a little play-in kind of thing. I like double elimination because that way, if you have a situation where you screwed up a little bit, one map you play, you're in a situation where you C9'd or something dumb, like say San Francisco did last year, you have a chance for redemption, or you just a team had your number, you had a bad seed, whatever. You have a chance to come in and redeem yourself. I like double elimination tournaments, especially in esports. I think it's fantastic. It reminds me more of like a baseball thing. I always liked if you're in the U.S., in high school, college, that kind of thing, even non-professional, when they run a tournament, they run a double elimination tournament. I like that better. I don't like the group stage thing and all that kind of. That takes too long. To me, and then points, and then this team's everybody's got to play each other and all that. I like the way this is set up. Single elimination tournament for the lower teams. You all have a shot to do something in the playoffs, which I think is interesting. I think it works better in esports than in other, like if you did that in the NBA or the NHL or baseball or football or whatever your sport, soccer. I think that's odd. I don't think teams should be rewarded for bad play. But in esports, I don't know, there's something a little different, especially this year. Everybody's not playing each other. It's a whole different thing. So yeah, okay, include all the teams, that's fine. I like the double elimination setup for the second round of playoffs. I like how they're staging it too. They are drawing it out a little bit more. Talk about the NA side a little bit. The APAC side, like I said, is a little bit easier. So NA, you have first round is 8 through 13 playing each other, single elimination, and then they go into the NA, I guess you would call them, I wouldn't call them the semis, the playoff tournament, where the teams, obviously, if you're a better seed, a higher seed, you get a chance to pick. So they're giving 1 through 4, teams 1 through 4, the chance to pick their team, which I love that. I love picking the team. It adds a little spice. You also get to pick, the higher seeds always get to pick the first map, which I think is crucial. Because sometimes when you just get thrown into, all right, Ilios, some teams are not good at that, or because it's usually a control to start. You can pick your best control map and just start the ball rolling. Because a lot of teams go down 1-0 in some of these tournaments and have to fight back because they're not necessarily good on a map or whatever. It's rewarding teams for playing well. I like that part of it, even though all the teams are included. Like I said before, I was leery of it, and this is the reason why I'm not leery of this being, the all-inclusive tournament thing. And then we have a losers bracket, and then we're going to move into, and this is on both sides. The semis are both double elimination, and then 2-week break, I'm assuming because we have to bring the team over from Asia. That's going to be in the grand finals, or in the, I guess, I don't know if they're running all 4. It sounded like they're just running the finals with the 2 teams somewhere, I'm assuming Los Angeles, on land. From what I could deduct from the whole situation, they're going to they have to take a 2-week break. Now, this is drawing into, we're talking from the date that they're saying it's starting, September 3rd. You're going to have a couple of weeks. They said 2-week tournament. So that brings you to mid-September when that's done. Then we're going to hit it's going to be done about mid-October. I'm wondering if, just because there is no BlizzCon and they wanted to have something as far as professional Overwatch going a little bit later, haven't heard anything about World Cup. So this could just be we're taking it longer. We're going to do the World Cup, but they might do it, from this point and take it past. I don't know. But it seems like they set it up a little bit later than normal, but I like the format a lot. They really thought this out. They're including all the teams, which is fine, with the system that they're doing it in. I think if they just did the standard format that they've been doing now, and then they did the play-in match, and like we were doing, I wouldn't like the single elimination version of that. Because in my mind, if you're going to do that, just do top 6, have one play-in tournament, and call it a day. I like the double elim thing, though, for everybody. Everybody gets a shot. And it makes it a little bit more fun. You might have a couple upsets. I mean, look, the last tournament we had, we didn't think there were teams that were going to do what they did. They came out and they won. So I think this is going to be good. It's good for the league. I think it adds some flavor. It adds meaningful matches for a month. Because if you think about it, yes, there's a couple of matches after this tournament's over, but actually about 2 months. So we're going to have our 3 weeks of prelims starting this week. We go into the Countdown Cup, and then we're going to go into a couple of weeks of warm-up matches for the playoffs, and then go into a month-long tournament for the playoffs. I think it's fantastic. When the matches mean something, the guys play better, the ratings go up because these matches mean something. People are more invested. I was hardcore on the side of the trying to do it like traditional sports, but I'm leaning more towards these formats where you're doing tournaments. Things mean more. Meaningless matches in the middle of a season in esports are worse than meaningless middle of the season baseball games. Let's be clear with that. To me, it's like watching baseball. Well, obviously not this year, but in a normal season, when you're watching baseball in mid-June and you're just going, ugh, the Dodgers are playing Arizona again. Get me away from this. I'll look at the box score in the morning. That's what's happening with this. But you have this tournament situation. It makes everything exciting. It makes the plays more impactful. The C9s, the stupidity, all of the things become more magnified. And I love it. I think this is a fantastic idea. This is one of those things where you could say, even though I've been known to call him the crazy ex-girlfriend, but Monty was right on this one. The tournament format works better. I'm just going to throw it in there. They need to figure out a way next year. If we could possibly get back to homestands and stuff like that, we could make it more interesting with tournaments. But that is the playoff format. So let's talk. We're back live with matches. I hate the breaks. I love this game, and I love this league. I love watching competitive Overwatch. So when they're on breaks, and especially with nothing else going on, it's all you got for competition. I'm not as big into other esports. I will watch some things. I'll watch a little LOL here and there. I'll probably watch some Valorant when they get more of a scene. Give me the Overwatch League any day of the week. Let's dive into this week. We discussed briefly on the APAC power rankings, hero pool. So for the next 2 weeks, we are going to have damage dealers, Mei and Widowmaker, Tank, Orisa, and Anna on support, all out of the pool, sitting on the sidelines this week. I think it's going to prove to be interesting. I'm hoping, because I'm a fan of Dive, I'm hoping we see a lot more Dive. I think you might. We got big nerfs in. We also have Hanzo buffs in. And I believe there's some Diva buffs in too, so we might see some stuff there. I'm not 100% on the Diva stuff. But what that's going to provide is less fuel for the Genji. You don't have the halts, you don't have that kind of stuff. But he's still, as we said, he's a little overpowered. And these guys are going to work it. Even your average guy playing Genji is going to look really good. But there's more counters right now because he's not going into a back line with 100 armor on him and diving onto the back line and, surviving a shield bash, BAP shooting at him, all kinds of other stuff, stuns, the whip shots, and just dashing out and going because nothing happened to him. It's going to be a little bit more interesting. I think we might see some Tracer. We could see some various things. I think we could see some rush comps with, your Rhine Diva, maybe Rhine Sigma, with some Moira Lucio splashed in there, that kind of stuff. But the Dive right now can counter that really hard, especially when you got Genji and you have Tracer who's still viable. And even if you did something where you ran some of the stuff they were running in APAC with Winston and Zarya, you're going to have a little trouble with that. Maybe a little bit less with rush comps, but I think if you got into your Winston Diva, if you did a Winston Ball kind of thing, you're going to have some problems on Reinhardt. Reinhardt could, especially Genji can melt him now with that damn right click. I mean, I was screwing around playing quick play, and I literally on my main account, I have 12 minutes on Genji. And I was amazed at how much damage he does because I haven't been playing as much as normal. I've been playing I've been playing Ark Survival. It's basically I equate Ark as a grown-up Minecraft with dinosaurs murdering you. I've been playing the PvE. I don't play the PvP on those things because then it's just people spawn camping you and setting traps at spawn camps and all that stupid shit. Anyway, back to Overwatch. So. Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of varying things, but I think we're going to see a lot of Dive. Don't think we're going to see any absence of Genji. I think people are going to try and run him for sure. Especially teams like your teams, obviously, Paris, Dallas with Doha. You got a lot of Haxel, but APAC is weird. They might decide that they're going to run fucking Torbjorn Symmetra. Who knows? But, you have a bunch of guys that, some of these god-tier Genjis that are playing. They're going to play and they're going to do well. Teams that are going to be interesting to watch are teams like Houston, teams like the Mayhem, other teams that don't necessarily have, they have really, really high-tier Genjis, but they're better at Tracer or better at other things. Those are the teams that are going to be interesting to watch. Teams like Atlanta, where they have Erster's really good, but he's on a milk carton again still, or I just don't know if it's working with him there. I would love to see them either use him or deal him. because I think he's one of those guys that needs play time. I've been thinking about it. I said he was kind of not playing well. He's one of those guys that needs to be on the field. You can't just throw him in map to map to map every 3 weeks and put him on May and expect him to do shit. Yeah, I think the bet is going to be interesting. I think we're going to see some varying things, a lot of dive. We might see rush comps, but rush comps are going to get countered. You could see some Torbjorn again, especially in APAC. They are not afraid to bust out the little man, and you're going to have Ash is going to be in play because you don't have Widow. So you're going to need some kind of medium and long range hits again. But Hanzo got buffed, so you could see some of him. I'm really fascinated to see what happens this time. Because this is the first time in a long time where we've gotten a hero pool where all of the enablers are out. For a certain OP thing or whatever. Except for, Briggs is there, but she's nerfed. So I don't even know if we're gonna see her. Probably will if Rally's still really good. Might see Zen make an appearance too if we get some dive going. That Discord orb is no joke, especially if you're dealing with, you have Genjis and you have Tracers and you put a Discord on a tank, that's juicy for them. I really think this is going to be a fun way to start this off. I get annoyed with Orisa play. It's fascinating the way these guys started, the way they work Orisa and the way they use her. I think it's great. I'm not a fan of watching it. I'm not going to be... How good of the coordination the guys have playing with the halt. That stuff is fantastic. In this league, it is really cool to watch things get set up by halt and some of the other stuff Orisa can do. The rest of it, I don't want to see. Cow Lady needs to stay home for a week, and that's fine with me. And same thing with Satan. She can sit down for a week. Not that they were using her that much, but it's just the CC and the annoyance. Widowmaker gets the bum rap because she gets banned every other fucking week. So, and I like seeing people click heads on Widow. I'm not going to lie. But, yeah, and Anna is an enabler for the Genji thing. I really don't understand how Genji and Brig didn't get banned this week. It really fascinates me. And Sigma's been, out once. It's like they don't want Sigma to get sat down. Let's move on to the week at large. We're going to talk about 3 or 4 matches here, and then the McRight-Click picks are back. I am going to go through the whole list of games, and in rapid-fire succession, pick teams, sometimes wrong, a lot of times wrong, sometimes right, and we're just going to fire them out and see what happens. Kind of like McRight-Clicking in the game. All right, let's run down the schedule really quick. We only have 1 day of matches in APAC. They did play a lot after they caught up, though, so I kind of get that. And we have Friday matches again. Starting on Friday, we have Vancouver, Paris, and then Houston, Dallas. Saturday, we have Hangzhou, Seoul, followed by Guangzhou, London, then Chengdu, New York. Back to NA on Saturday, we have the Titans taking on the Gladiators, the Justice taking on the Defiant, and then the Shock taking on the Uprising. And then Sunday... Oh, I'm sorry. And then we have the Valiant taking on Atlanta at 9. Then we have 3 matches on Sunday. We got Paris, Toronto, Atlanta, Florida, and then Boston, LA Valiant. All right, so we're going to talk about a couple of matches, kind of highlighted matches for the week. First match we're going to talk about is the Dallas Fuel and the Houston Outlaws, the battle for Texas, or the battle for which fan base is mad at me the most this week. This is going to be a good match. Now, I've given my thoughts on Dallas and Houston. I basically flip-flopped them for the time being. Now, this is a chance for Dallas to prove me wrong. I think Houston's better than them. I know Dallas has components. Some of the components, a lot of people are overrating. Sorry. But those components are on the same level as the Outlaws, and that's the support line. I think they're about on the same level. Dallas might be a little bit better than Houston. But right now, I think Houston is playing better. They showed up a little bit more. This meta is kind of odd. Now, something Dallas could do here. They could run a Genji Tracer dive, and they could run it really well. Because you have 2 really good dive tanks from Season 1, and you have a really good Genji and a really good Tracer. But the thing is the amount that this has been played recently has been really not that much. But who knows? They could be practicing this. They might be ready for this. This might be their thing. Houston, on the other hand, they came off. They beat Florida. Yeah, they lost to Philly. I said a lot about Dante. I think he's fantastic. I think Blase, you could see some Doomfist going on too. I didn't bring that up, but you might see a little Blase. Their support line is playing better. I love their tank line. All right, love's strong. That's a hot take. I think their tank line is way better than it was, unfortunately, for Muma. I think Hydration and Neko have a better synergy. I think they're working out really well. I think they're better in Dallas' tank line. Well, where it's going to get interesting is if we're going to get Decay and Doha, like I said, on Tracer and Genji, or what they're going to play them on, and what the Outlaws are going to do with Dante. What are we going to run? We could see some Sombra. Those kind of things, really depends on what tanks they're going to play. I feel like Dallas is going to want to play either Monkey Diva, potentially. You could run Rein Sigma. I don't think they're going to get Nazaria comps because Note is not that good. So the two comps you're either going to see from them are going to be some kind of rush comp where you have Winston and Sigma, or you have a standard dive tank situation with Monkey and Diva. Or some kind of combination, maybe Monkey Sigma. That's kind of a weird comp. I'm not a fan of that. I don't think they're going to run a Zarya. They might try it if they have something like a Li Zhang kind of thing, old school, where you run that rush comp in on Control Center. But I think we're going to see that. As far as Houston, you can run a ton of different things. I don't really know what Hydration's Monkey's like. As far as I've seen it's not bad. I mean, he's been playing really well in all the tanks so far. But I want to see how him and now, I mean, Mono is the quintessential standard dive Monkey Diva thing. Probably one of the best divas in the league. A little more defensive than some other ones, but that's okay. They need that. They need someone to be able to kind of play that middle with Diva, play the dive in with Winston, peel the back line kind of situation. They need somebody that can do that. I think this match is going to be very, very close, but I think Houston comes out in this. I'm going to say a close 3-1. I think Dallas, I want them to be there. I know people are misconstruing this as I hate Dallas or something like that. I don't hate Dallas. I think Dallas could do really well. I think there's potential for them to win this. I'm not throwing that out the window either. I just want to see something from Dallas. They need to give me something. They've given me something in a couple of things, in a couple of metas, but they haven't put W's on the board. They have to finish something at some point. This is what I keep saying with this team. This is why I had them so low. Finish the game. But I like the Outlaws in this one, in a close 3-1. Let's move on to the next match that we got. We're going to talk about a weird one in APAC. All right, these are two teams that should be playing better, that right now have to play better. And that's the Hangzhou Spark and the Seoul Dynasty. We've talked at nauseum about Seoul. Hangzhou, new lineup, needs some coordination. Now, this is where they have their chance to potentially put themselves in the 3 spot there right now in APAC. New York is kind of up and down. I have them at 6 because they're not quite there yet. Or 5, I'm sorry. I think they're slightly better than Seoul right now. Seoul is playing with no soul. They are just lackluster across the board. With this meta, though, this could be a point where you could see them shine. If they run standard dive, I think they could be really good because they have a lot of standard dive players on this team from back in the days in London, and even a couple of guys that were, they could run. I think we're going to have probably a Gesture, Monkey, Michelle, Diva. That I think that wouldn't be too terrible. But Hangzhou, this is where it gets interesting. You got Gushue with the potential to be able to play Monkey. They could run fucking Wrecking Ball Fara week. It could be for them. It could be one of these weeks for APAC. But I really think that Hangzhou should take advantage of the fact that you can run Monkey and you don't have Orisa. And if you don't have Orisa, you're not going to get some of the other crap that slows Monkey down. So you get Gushue on his best hero. Go dive. And then you have Architect can play some Genji. And you can run Gonsby on whatever else you want. I'm assuming you're going to run some kind of Ash or whatever. I would go dive if I were them. And I would take it to Seoul at what they should be good at. This one, I think Hangzhou wins. I think they win 3-0. I think Seoul's done. Every time I say shit like that, by the way, guys, the team rises up. So I don't know what it is. So Dallas fans, I put you at 12, so that means you'll be 3. So just be happy with that. Dynasty I think it's going to be a 3-0, but I think it's going to be a close 3-0. In that I don't think the Dynasty are going to get just absolutely destroyed on every map. I think there's going to be points where they could win maps, but they don't. I think Hangzhou beats them out in that. But I'm taking Hangzhou 3-0. I have no faith in Seoul. I have a little bit more in Hangzhou. I want to see what both of these teams do, though. This is a lot like the Houston-Dallas match. I want to see where these teams are at. I want to see who is better in these areas where the teams are kind of jumbled. As far as, they could rise up, they could fall down. I want to see who makes a name, who makes a move, who plays better. Because we're getting towards the end of the season. I want to see who's ready. And these two matches are going to show a lot of what these teams' characters are. And you can, and this goes for me as a Mayhem fan too. You can cry till the fucking ends of the earth about we had to play this, we had to play that. The meta was this, which is not ours. But the thing is the team that are going to win are the teams that are actually good. The teams that can get through these metas, not teams like even last year. We had, Shanghai wasn't as good as they are this year. They had an amazing stage 3. Toronto, stage 1, was in the playoffs last year. They weren't the best GOATS team, and then they obviously just fell apart. Valiant went 0-7 and then 7-0. So, this year, Mayhem started out terrible. They come in second in a tournament. Paris didn't have all their pieces, got all their pieces, and they won the next tournament. But these two matches are key in that whole area of what are they going to do. Now, the next match we are going to talk about, actually, this is very big for one team the whole weekend, and that's the Atlanta Reign. We're going to talk both matches with them. Now, there's been talk of Baby Bay retiring-ish kind of thing. He said something. I don't know if he's going to wait till the end of the year. He seems like the guy that waits till the end of the year instead of dipping in the middle. Because I'm assuming he wants to go to Valorant. He likes playing with the shooty guns, which is fine. That's great. But he's also a responsible human enough to not bail. Who knows? He could be writing a twit logger right now. But Atlanta's playing the Valiant and the Mayhem. Now, this is a chance to just turn everything back around, do what they need to do, and get back up to form where everybody thought they were. They're playing two teams that are, right now, in my standings, better than them, and everybody else is pretty much too. By 1 or 2 slots. But this is also in that area. I said these teams could rise and fall and jumble around anywhere from 8 to 11, or 4 to 11. Potentially 12, too, if Dallas can get their shit together. Once you get past Philadelphia, anything's possible. So Atlanta's got to play the Valiant. Now, the Valiant did not run much Genji. And right now, they can, but they don't have to in this meta. They can do what they want to do. And same thing with Atlanta. Atlanta didn't really run much Genji. They could have ran it with Erster because he's really fucking good on Genji, but they didn't. They chose not to. But I think we're gonna see a lot of that Tracer Ash stuff. But we're also gonna see some things where we're running some regular dive with Monkey and Diva. You might see some Ryan Sigma out of these teams too. You might get a little Reaper Doomfist. Who knows? I think from these two teams, you're going to get a lot of Tracer, a lot of Ash, DPS-wise. I don't know what's going on with Lastro on the Valiant. They need to get back together. Them and the Mayhem proved themselves in the May Melee tournament, and they've taken a tick down a little bit. Still good, but they're teetering on that when I have them at like 4 and 5, and a lot of other people have them in that range. Sometimes flip-flopped, whatever. When they're in that upper area, this is big for them. But it's bigger for Atlanta. Atlanta needs to get their shit together and do something. Gator and Hawk have a chance to, I mean, they might see some Ryan Sigma. I do not know if they're going to put in Popo to play some monkey, if that's what they decide. What I want to see from Atlanta is I want to see them come out, and if they get into a battle with a team that's over 500, which are the Valiant, and this goes for the next match against the Mayhem, is actually do something. If they get punched, they need to punch back. They've been getting 0-3'd or 3-1'd. If they lose a map, they don't win. And if they win against a team that's sub 500. And that includes beating the Mayhem early on in the year. And I believe they beat the Valiant early on in the year. The Valiant, I think are okay. This is a big match all around. I think it's bigger for Atlanta, but I think the Valiant need to come out, and they need to, I really want to say they don't need to run Shax on Tracer. That is their best option. It matters what Atlanta runs, but I think if they run Shax on Tracer, they play just infinitely better. Genji is great, yes, but without all the assist from Brig Armor and nano boosted Dragon Blades and all that kind of stuff, Tracer's a little bit more viable. Genji's still powerful, but they have a chance now. They could still go in with a Tracer and not get owned. So I think they're going to be okay. I want their tank line to... McGravy's okay. By okay, I mean he's playing well. I would like them to pick a main tank at some point. And I want Lastro in there. And please stop putting a ply on Brig. Can we not do that? Thank you very much. I think they outsmarted themselves in the last tournament, too. They're a good team. I think this game is going to be I'm going to go with a 3-2, and I'm going to go Atlanta. All right. So, last match we're going to talk about on the weekend. We already talked about Atlanta. Let's talk about the Mayhem. So, the Mayhem have another meta where they can shine. Brig has been nerfed. So, if they get into a situation where they have to run... Now, Chris can run Moira, too. That's another option. But you're going to run Moira if you run a rushdown comp, which they're probably not going to run. So, you're looking at Mayhem probably sticking with the Brig. And then Gangnam Jin is going to run wherever he wants. And then you have Yaki being able to run Genji or Tracer. And then BQB doing something, either some sort of hit scan. McCree, depending on... Atlanta's probably going to run Tracer as well with Edison. So you might get McCree... You might get a double hit scan McCree and Tracer, or you might get McCree Genji from the Mayhem. Both of these teams love running a double hit scan anyway. He might even end up with Tracer Ash comps, because that would be fun with these two teams, because they both run it really well. And they're both comfortable on it, but you don't have Orisa, which assists a lot of that damage you get from the Dynamite and Pulse Bombs, and if you run Genji, the dashes and all that stuff. So, what I think in this one, yes, I'm going to go Homer, but I'm going to go 3-2 again. I think Atlanta could beat the Mayhem without question. I think the Mayhem got them in that playoff match, and that boosted the Mayhem's confidence. But one thing I will say, the Reign kind of have a little vendetta against them. I think for picking them and then beating them, I think the Reign want to beat them. And they could be, who knows, they could be doing this last run of Baby Bay kind of thing. We don't know. Same thing for that last match. I think both of these matches are going to be close. I would like to say Atlanta wins one of them. I'm going Mayhem. I'm not going to not pick them against a team like this. There's very few teams I'm going to pick against them. I have confidence in these guys for a change. So I think their tank line is on the same level, both of them. I think Gargoyle's right now playing at a higher level, especially as Diva. If we get into a dive thing, I think Faye can run Monkey a lot better than Pokepo. If we got in a dive thing. But these teams like Tracer Ash, potentially running things like that. That's going to do it for the matches that I'm highlighting. What we're going to do next week, best match of the week, or the most interesting match of the week. Doesn't necessarily have to be the best. We're going to pick one, or two, and then I would like to do one from APAC and one and just talk about them for 20 minutes, and then, go over each match as like a highlighted match of the week. I haven't pegged one down yet, but all right, that's going to do it for these. Now let's go into the final part of this episode, and then we're going to wrap it up, and then we'll call it a night. Make right-click picks. So this is where I go down, and this goes back a ways, where I just go down the whole schedule, pick everything rapid fire. There's no odds. There's no nothing like that. I just give you who I'm going to pick, maybe a couple quick words. All right, so let's start off. We have Friday, July 17th, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have the Vancouver Titans? The Vancouver Titans taking on the Paris Eternal. I'm going with the Paris Eternal in this one. We already talked about this match on Friday night. I'll take the Houston Outlaws over the Dallas Fuel. Saturday, 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have Hangzhou Spark taking on the Seoul Dynasty. I like Hangzhou. Next match from APAC, we have the Guangzhou Charge taking on the London Spitfire. I'm going to go with the Charge. I think they're just one of the better teams in the region. And the final match of the APAC weekend, we have the Chengdu Hunters taking on New York. New York all the way. Chengdu is terrible. Let's move on to Saturday in NA. We have 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have the Titans taking on the Gladiators. I am going to go with the Titans in this one. Gladiators are terrible. This is the chance for the Gladiators to come back, though, and do something. Let's go next match. Saturday, we have another one. I was thinking about talking about this one. This could be the match we talk about for good or bad reasons. The Washington Justice taking on the Toronto Defiant. I'm going to go with the Justice in this one. I think they're a little bit better than Toronto right now. I would like Toronto to win this because I am a fan, but I'm going with Washington. Next match, San Francisco-Boston. We don't even have to say anything about this. Shock. The only thing I'm going to say is I want if you guys down in the comments, how fast are the Shock going to win? Give me a time. Final match of Saturday. We have the Valiant taking on the Reign. I said I like the Valiant. I'll take the Valiant in this one. Then let's move to Sunday. We have Paris taking on Toronto. Toronto's going to take it on the chin again. Eternal going to beat the Defiant. On Sunday, we got the Reign, or at 5 o'clock on Sunday, we have the Reign taking on the Mayhem. I already said I like the Mayhem. And the final match of the weekend, we have the Valiant taking on Boston. I'm obviously going with the Valiant. All right, guys. That was Right Click Picks. That's going to do it for the episode. So thank you very much for joining me. It was a blast. It was fun. Everybody out there in YouTube land, thank you very much for joining. Hit a like, hit a subscribe if you're new. If you are returning, thank you very much. Everybody, comment down below. Let's talk. Let's get this going. I also have links to all the social media for OverTakes, and my Twitter's on there. I think I have a Discord channel for the channel, so come visit. I'm going to start doing some more stuff with that. Maybe we'll have live match views and all that kind of stuff, depending on my schedule in life. But otherwise, thank you very much. Everybody in podcast line, thank you very much. If you can give me a rating, that'd be great. That is going to do it for this episode, guys. Enjoy the matches all weekend. Stay safe wherever you are. And have a good rest of your day. And we will see you at the beginning of the week with some reviews and some other new stuff going on. Thank you very much. Misfit out. I'll talk to you later.